Today, we're going to talk about addiction, but probably in a way you've never heard before. We're going to set aside all the judgment and stigma for a minute and just get curious. We'll look at what's happening through the eyes of modern neuroscience and, believe it or not, ancient yogic wisdom to see a completely new path forward. So let's start with this one question, because it really changes everything. What if the whole struggle with addiction, what if it's not a moral failing at all? What if it's just a search for peace, for bliss that just took a wrong turn? Let's dig into that. All right, so to really get this, we first have to look inside the brain. Because for someone who's struggling with addiction, there is a literal civil war going on between two really important parts of the brain.
Now, what's amazing is that an ancient yogic story about a chariot perfectly describes what scientists see today. So picture this. You've got your prefrontal cortex, the PFC. That's the charioteer, your rational mind, the part that makes good long-term decisions. Then you have the limbic system. These are the powerful horses. They're all about emotion, craving, impulse, and wanting what feels good right now. Here's the key. Addiction is what happens when the charioteer gets weak and loses their grip on the reins. The horses, those powerful cravings and impulses, start running wild. They're in charge now, pulling the whole chariot wherever they want to go, consequences be damned. And this makes so much sense of why the teenage years can be so risky. Think about it. The limbic system, the brain's gas pedal, is fully floored by age 13. But the PFC, the brain's brakes, well, that part isn't fully installed until you're about 24. So you've got this long period with a powerful engine and a driver who's, still learning the rules of the road. So if the whole problem is the charioteer losing control, then the solution has to be getting control back, right? This is where yoga comes in. And I'm not talking about just stretching. We're talking about specific, evidence-based techniques that are like targeted interventions for your brain. And the approach is genius, really. It's a 1-2 punch. First, you use a special kind of fast breathing to literally wake up and power up the charioteer, that prefrontal cortex. Then, you use chanting or humming to calm down those wild horses in the limbic system. So you're strengthening your control and quieting your cravings at the exact same time. This part is just so cool. This breathing technique is called Kapalabhati, which means forehead shining breath. The ancient yogis who named it thousands of years ago, with no fMRI machines, they noticed that it made your forehead feel alive. And guess what? Modern science shows they were exactly right. The practice literally increases blood flow and oxygen to your prefrontal cortex. It makes your forehead shine from the inside out. Okay, so we've seen how yoga can physically change the brain's wiring. But that's only half the story. To really get to the heart of it, we have to ask a bigger question. Why do we have cravings in the first place? And for that answer, we need to look at a really profound yogic map of who we are. It's called the Pancha Kosha model. And the basic idea is that we're more than just our physical bodies. Think of yourself like one of those Russian nesting dolls. We have 5 layers, or koshas, going from the most obvious, our physical body, all the way to the most subtle, core part of our being. So you've got the physical layer, your energy, your mind and emotions, your wisdom. But deep inside, at the very center of it all, is something called the Anandamaya Kosha. And this is the game changer. It's known as the bliss body, a source of pure, unshakable happiness and peace that is, get this, your natural state. It's already there. And this leads to a huge realization. What are we really craving? Is it the beer? Or is it the moment of quiet and relaxation that the beer seems to give us? The yogic view is clear. We're craving the quiet. Let me show you what I mean with a simple little experiment. Imagine a little kid. You put their favorite piece of chocolate in front of them. Their mind is going crazy, right? I want it, give it to me. But then, as you slowly bring it to their mouth, something amazing happens. Their mind goes completely silent. It's totally focused. And in that tiny moment of pure, quiet focus, they feel bliss. The light bulb moment is realizing the bliss didn't come from the chocolate. It came from this stillness that allowed their own inner bliss to pop out for a second. The chocolate was just the trick to get them there. Right, so if everybody, whether they're using a substance or practicing yoga, is ultimately just trying to get a taste of that same inner bliss, that Anandamaya Kosha, then what's the big deal? Well, the deal is in the path you take. Because the results, they couldn't be more different. Let's just break it down. With a substance, you need more and more over time to get the same feeling. That's tolerance. With yoga, it's the opposite.
You actually need less practice over time to feel that peace. One comes from something outside of you, the other comes from inside you. But the biggest thing is the aftermath. Substances leave you feeling worse, agitated, guilty. Yoga leaves you with a lasting sense of calm.
So think of it like this. Your inner bliss is the sun, and your busy, stressed-out mind is a thick layer of clouds. Using a substance is like setting off dynamite to blast a hole in the clouds. For a second, whoa, you see the sun, but then the smoke and dust rush back in, and the clouds are even thicker and dirtier than before. Yoga. Yoga is like gently and patiently clearing those clouds away so the sun can just shine all on its own.
Once you see it this way, the entire approach to recovery gets a major upgrade. It's no longer about shame and willpower. The whole conversation shifts to one of self-discovery and empowerment. And this is just so deeply compassionate. It means you can look at yourself or someone you love and see not an addict, but a spiritual seeker. Someone on a totally normal human search for peace and happiness who just got lost. They weren't looking for a drug, they were looking for themselves, just in all the wrong places. All the guilt can just fall away. So now, the conversation in therapy can start with real curiosity. You ask someone, hey, what's that feeling you're really looking for when you use? And they'll say things like peace, quiet, no more stress. And they start to realize, wait a minute, I'm not describing a chemical. I'm describing the qualities of that bliss body, that peace that's already inside me. And that brings us right back to our chariot. This becomes the ultimate question you can ask yourself. Who is actually driving your life right now? Is it your wise higher self, the charioteer? Or is it those wild horses of impulse, just yanking you from one craving to the next?
And that's really what it all comes down to. When you look at it this way, recovery isn't about stopping something, it's about starting something new. It's about starting a journey back to yourself, to find that peace you were looking for all along. It's about finally coming home. Thanks for listening.